These are the Li-Ning Ji-Ying 3 in firm ground, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the Takedown turf model. So this is the, well, AG model, I guess, from Li-Ning. These were kindly supplied to me by Hongbo on Instagram, so I'll leave his information right on screen. He's a follower of the channel who was able to send a couple pairs out. These are the Li-Ning AG/MG boots. This is the Takedown model, which are available for sale, made in China. And this is a Chinese brand, which are absolutely fantastic, as you guys know from the Ji-Ying 3s, which I've reviewed and done some Instagram content on. They are one of the most technologically advanced speed boots on the market. These, of course, are a 9.5 US per the sizing of the previous. Turn this little light on. Bam, here we go. All right, so let's get these unboxed. These are in the same colorway as the other model as well, so you guys will see some similarities there. And here we go. All right, so there is the Ji-Ying 3 in AG/MG. Some interesting tech features still with this football boot, but definitely more of a Takedown model. I'm interested to see how this upper is going to compare comfort-wise to the FG top-end model that I have as well. No string bag or anything, but we'll get these out of the box and show you guys some of the tech of the football boots. So they're pretty simple in construction, to be honest. This is a synthetic / kind of mesh-based synthetic upper, which is actually really, really soft out of the box. If I can take this out as well. There you go, so really soft. In comparison, this is a little bit more, not plasticky feeling, but it's a little more robust and a little higher tech. You can see kind of the differences between the two uppers, but both very, very impressively soft for a synthetic upper. Now, from the lacing system, you do still get a knit material. This knit is pretty much the same as the top-end model as well, although the top end does feel a little bit more structured, meaning it's probably got a higher density of knit compared to the Takedown model. And then in the heel area, you got a pretty basic kind of, I don't know, I guess kind of textured knit material here with some padding that feels very much like a Takedown, believe it or not. Ironic how that happens. And then on the sock liner, very, very simple sock liner with the padded, with their always forward logoing. That's kind of their saying, if you will. Pretty nice, actually. Single layer foam material that does have a quite decent amount of padding there, which is super, super nice. Then we turn the boots over to the sole plate, which is an AG/MG pattern, all conical studs, very, very small here in the midfoot. And then you do have some of their running shoe foam in the heel area, which we didn't get on the top end model. So that's something that's really, really nice. That being said, we do, if we go up to the previous generation, the turf model. So if we do look into the turf model, you do have that same kind of plush, padded, almost, yeah, bouncy foam material that you get in some of their running shoes as well. If you guys didn't know, Li-Ning is actually a sportswear company like Nike. So they do carry a lot of running shoes. They sponsor a lot of basketball players as well. And they have a ton of really cool tech, both in their football boots, their basketball boots, their basketball shoes, their running shoes, etc. So the Takedown model still gets a little bit of that foam cushioning here in the heel area, which I do think is a nice touch for an MG/AG model, particularly because MG and AG tends to be a lot more difficult to play on as far as how it affects your joints and stuff. From a flexibility perspective, definitely not the top quality, but you do get a lot of structure through this midfoot, which you don't get in a lot of other Takedown models on the market, especially in the speed boot category, whereas these are very, very structured, super snappy because of that carbon plate. So definitely something to keep in mind if you are going to get your hands on a pair of the Ji-Ying 3s. These are something to keep in mind. So that's really an overview of the tech. Now, the reason I don't have the actual names of this tech is because they don't really specify on any of their websites or any of the marketing information that I could find on these. It is just sort of a synthetic upper, the knit upper. It's a combination of both. It used to be more of a knit-based boot like a Magista, basically, or a Hypervenom, whereas now it moves a lot more synthetic-y, almost like, this is more like the Speed Flow, and then we got what was before that? The Ghosted. So this is kind of Ghosted-esque with less stretch material and more of like Ghosted texturing and a little bit more of that mesh-based synthetic. Maybe not too dissimilar from a Puma Ultra 1.1. That's kind of where I would put this material. And then this is a little bit more flimsy. It is obviously a takedown model with a little bit less structure to the upper, a little bit less quality knit, but I do think these are still going to be quite a nice pair of football boots in terms of the comfort and of course we'll see about performance. But Li-Ning Ji-Ying 3s in this AG-MG. I am really excited to try these on feet, so let's do a little bit of compare and contrast, and I'll show you guys what these are like compared to the top-end model out in my backyard. Let's hop into it. All right, fam, out here in the backyard with the AG-MG model of the Li-Ning 3, well, Ji-Ying, Li-Ning Ji-Ying 3 takedowns. Here we go. They look pretty sweet, honestly, out on pitch. I really like this colorway. It's obviously the same color that I have in that original top-end model that has the carbon and stuff, but here we go. Mid-cut model. Ooh, nice. Okay. So definitely more accommodating due to the little bit lack of structure to this upper. The fit is pretty good. I would say it's a little too long for me. It's sort of that in-between size. Unfortunately, if you were to do my exact size, I wear like an 8.75 or a 9. Whereas these are a 9.5, so in the Li-Ning boots, I'm probably more of like a 9.25. But to be honest, the width fits really well, the heel fits okay, so yeah, not too much to complain about there. Let's get this other one on, and I don't know, as a takedown model, these are pretty comfortable. I don't know a ton about takedown models in general because I just don't have the bandwidth and the time to review all of them. But I do think that this is a pair of football boots that if you are on the market for a takedown model and you want something that's AG-MG that's also really thin, this is definitely something to consider. I have just gotten done reviewing the Turf model as well. And to be honest, those are pretty damn good. They're pretty damn good for a takedown. I do like that they went with a really simple heel construction as well, because the heel feels pretty neutral and comfy. That obviously might change as I break the boots in and have to pivot back and forth. But so far, the heel area actually feels pretty good. It seems like Li-Ning has done a good job with their heel areas. I was particularly impressed with the Turf model that I reviewed just a couple minutes ago, but that you guys will see at some point, either that you've already seen it or it will come out in a few weeks. But those are very impressive for a takedown Turf model to have a heel area that good. So these are no different. Now, from a performance perspective, in terms of the upper, in terms of a fit perspective, they are more accommodating for sure than the top-end model, simply because they have a little bit less general structure than the top-end model does. So you're gonna be able to fit most foot types. As you can see, I can wiggle my toes pretty significantly in these, but that's to be fair, and I would say that's to be expected from a takedown model in general. Here's what they look like on feet, full look. I think this colorway is actually really cool. I really like the way the top-end model looks, and to be fair, both the non-top end boots and the, which you can probably see right there, the non-top end boots also look really nice as well. Kind of that white and green fade, or like aquamarine or whatever, sea foam, I guess you would call it. Now, the sole plate feels very neutral and grounded. That's kind of to be expected for Asian boots, or Asian market boots that are AG-MG. I find that Asics does this really well, Mizuno does this really well, now Li-Ning does it really well. Adler doesn't have any AG boots necessarily, but their sole plates are really neutral and grounded. The AG-MG boots that I've found that have come out of the Asian markets are fabulous. And I would say that this is no different. They feel really nice, super neutral. It almost feels like I'm wearing a pair of Turf boots, which is great because you still get the upper of sort of that mid-cut model in FG. Now, as far as touch goes, very thin, pretty much identical to that high-cut Turf model that I reviewed as well. but not too dissimilar from the top end model, which is really nice. They still kept this as a pretty thin upper. It feels pretty barefoot. I've got a lot of space to kind of wiggle my toes and move around, and that's really nice. So overall, you're gonna get a really seamless sensation across the entirety of the upper, which I do appreciate from a brand like this who took, you know, care in their takedown models, which is really, really nice. It's good to hear, and it's good to see that, you know, when you're talking to customers who don't want to spend 220 USD or 250 USD, you've got a pair of boots that actually functions really, really well. Like, they feel good on feet. It's definitely a boot that I would be happy to train in. Like, they feel super comfortable. I feel a little bit of tension right here, but that's to be expected from a speed boot. And then really the only thing that I'd be concerned about is potentially the heel area, but so far there's no pressure points. It's just a matter of whether my heel would kind of slip back and forth with rotational slippage or anything like that. So overall, very, very impressed with the Li-Ning Ji-Ying 3 in MG. This is a sole plate that I really, really like. I think this is a sole plate that I would love to see on some other boots as well, or a sole plate like this that's really neutral, really flat, but that's got the little bit of cushioning in that heel area kind of underneath this part of the foot. I really, really like that idea, and I think more brands are going to start doing that to cater to the uptick in artificial grounds that are coming out in the US, the UK, Europe as a whole, and then here in Australia and in Oceania as well. So hopefully that comes to different, I know, you know, Asics does it with their Sole Light material in the removable sock liner. The Hyperburst Pro from Skechers, that their sock liner, it's that sort of cushion thing. Under Armour's I'm sure going to come out with, well, actually, their current insoles for the Shadow 3 are pretty plush as well. And you'll see a lot of other brands start to do that because it is going to be accommodating and better for people's feet, which at the end of the day, that's my mission, is to find you guys the best possible fit for your feet so you avoid injuries and you become the best player you possibly can be with all the bullshit distractions that the boot market can kind of throw at you. So that's going to wrap up today's video of the Li-Ning Ji-Ying 3 takedown model in the MG-AG variation. If you guys want more unique, fun, and interesting football boots from not kind of the main brands, let me know down in the comment section below which brands you want to see next. As always, be awesome, take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.